She opened the door slowly, the hinges groaning, the smell of smoke and milk thick in the air. The lamp was low, shadows pulled long across the room. Her eyes caught the movement first, the gentle back and forth, the creak that wasn't a creak at all, more like the sound of air bending. The cradle was rocking. It shouldn't have been there. There was no cradle in this house. She had burned the last of the baby things years ago, locked the memory in a chest she swore never to open again. But here it stood, old wood polished as if just carved, a quilt tucked neat across its curve. And someone was there, leaning over it, rocking it with a hand too steady to belong. She didn't scream. She didn't stumble. She just stared at the man, his shoulders bent, his hair dark with sweat. He didn't turn right away. His hand kept its rhythm. The cradle obeyed. "That ain't yours," she said. The words hung in the smoke. The man finally turned his head, slow, like the weight of it was too much. His eyes were hollow, his jaw rough with days unshaven. He looked at her as if she were the intruder, not him. "You know him." His voice was flat. Her chest tightened. She stepped closer. The cradle shifted, and the blanket slipped just enough for her to see. A baby's hand lifted, small and twitching. Around its thumb glinted silver, a ring, old and bent, but familiar. Her dead brother's ring. She felt the floor beneath her boots, though it was steady. "Where'd you get that?" The man looked back at the child. "It was waiting." Her voice cracked sharp. "Waiting where?" "In the fire," he said. She froze. Words jammed in her throat. He reached down, adjusting the blanket. The baby let out a sound, half sigh, half groan. It wasn't a cry, more like memory being pushed into the air. She whispered, "That ring doesn't belong to a child." "It fits him," the man said. She moved closer, anger starting to edge her fear. "You stole it." He shook his head. "I dug it out, buried under what they left. You think I'd steal from your blood?" Her hands clenched. "I don't even know who you are." "I was here before," he said. "Long ago, when the fire started." "You're lying." He met her eyes. "Am I?" She wanted to deny him, to throw him out and slam the door, but the baby's thumb twitched again, the silver flashing in the lamplight, and every bone in her body remembered. Her brother had worn that ring until the day they pulled him from the river. She had seen it slip off his hand, heard it hit the stones. It was gone, lost. She whispered, "That was his." The man's voice was low. "Now it's his again." She felt heat crawl her neck. "That doesn't make sense." "Nothing does," he said. Her voice sharpened. "Who gave you the right to bring it back?" He leaned back in the chair, his hand still rocking. "The house did." She blinked, startled. "The house?" He nodded, eyes tracing the black stains still clinging to the beams, the scars of smoke that never washed out. "It remembers." She spat the word. "Houses don't remember." His gaze didn't leave the cradle. "Then explain why this one keeps whispering." She shook her head hard. "You're mad." He smiled faintly, the kind of smile that had no warmth. Maybe. She wanted to grab the cradle, to rip the ring from the baby's hand and shatter whatever trick this was, but her legs wouldn't move. Her throat burned. "What do you want?" she asked. The man didn't answer at once. His fingers brushed the quilt like it was something holy. Then he said, "Justice." Her stomach dropped. "For who?" "For the ones who never left this place." She took a step back. "You don't know what you're saying." He leaned forward, eyes sharp. "I know enough. They built this house with blood. They fed it silence. And when it burned, it didn't die. You know that." Her lips parted, but no sound came. He was speaking what she never dared to. She whispered, "You shouldn't be here." He looked at her, tired, heavy. "Neither should you." They locked eyes, the cradle rocking between them. The baby shifted, the ring catching one last flash of light before slipping deeper under the quilt. Her voice broke. "If that's him, if that's really him, then why now?" The man's answer was simple. "Because you finally came back." Her knees trembled. She wanted to deny it, to push it all away. But the truth was there, uninvited, glowing faint in the smoke. She had come back because the dream wouldn't stop. The same dream every night. Logs balanced by the fire. The cradle moved without sound. The voice whispered, "Rebuild." The man leaned closer, his words cutting soft. "Say his name." Her throat closed. She shook her head. "Say it," he pressed. She whispered, barely audible. "Samuel." The baby stirred. The rocking slowed. The man nodded once. Then you know it's him. Her face twisted, grief colliding with fury. Number, that can't be him. That can't. The man rose from the chair, towering, shadow stretching across the wall. Then look closer. She stepped forward, her hands trembling, the air thick with milk and ash. She pulled back the quilt just enough to see the baby's eyes. They opened, cloudy, gray as river stones. They fixed on her, and in them, for a split second, she swore she saw her brother's stare, the same stubborn defiance that once dared the river to take him. Her breath shattered. She staggered back, nearly falling. The man's voice followed. "He remembers you." She couldn't breathe. She couldn't speak. The cradle rocked once more. Then silence. The lamp flickered, smoke curling in the rafters. She gripped the doorframe, every muscle taut. The man stood calm, hands at his side now, as if his work was done. She whispered again, softer. This time, "That ain't yours." His reply was colder. "It ain't yours either." The house swallowed the words. The cradle sat still. The baby's hand rested, ring glinting once before vanishing beneath the quilt. She stayed frozen, her eyes locked on what should not exist. And the room pressed tighter, like the walls were listening, like the house itself was waiting for her to answer. But she said nothing. She just stood there, hearing the echo of her own voice in the silence, too heavy to take back. The cradle had gone still, but the air hadn't. It pressed heavy, the kind of weight that stuck to skin. She forced her feet forward, past the man, past the chair, into the room she had sworn she'd never enter again. The walls were scarred black, streaked where smoke had climbed and curled. The floor was warped, boards bent like ribs cracked open, and there it was. A table stood in the center, untouched, smooth, strong, its edges sharp, the wood dark but unburned, as if fire had walked around it and bowed its head. Her breath came short. No. The man's eyes followed hers. He didn't flinch. He didn't look surprised. She whispered again, louder. "That ain't right." He stepped closer, boots brushing soot. "You expected ruin." "I expected nothing," she snapped. "This house is gone." His hand hovered above the surface. He didn't touch. Not yet. It waited. Her throat tightened. "For what?" "For you," he said. She shook her head. "Don't say that." "You feel it," he pressed. Her voice rose sharp. "I feel ash, that's all." But even as she said it, her stomach twisted, because it wasn't ash beneath her boots. It was something heavier. Memory pressed into wood grain. The man lowered his hand, fingers meeting the table. His palm dragged slowly across it. For a moment, no sound. Then a faint scrape, almost like breath. Ash smeared across his skin. He held it up, showing her. "See?" She glared. "That's proof it burned." He shook his head. "That's proof it remembers." She clenched her fists. "Stop talking like that." "Like what?" "Like this place is alive." He leaned closer. "Then tell me why the fire spared it." Her eyes locked on the table, the dark sheen of its surface. She remembered her mother's hands there, kneading bread, pounding fists, writing letters she never mailed. She remembered her father's voice, low and sharp, telling them to keep quiet. She remembered her brother, Samuel, drawing lines with a knife, carving his initials into the side. She swallowed hard. "It's just wood." The man's voice dropped. "Say that again." She met his stare. "It's just wood." "Liar," he said. The word hit like a slap. She stepped back. "Don't call me that." "You don't believe in yourself," he said. "That's why your hands are shaking." She glanced down. He was right. Her hands trembled against her will. She set her jaw, forcing her voice steady. "If this table really waited, it waited for fire to finish the job. It didn't. Or it waited for you," he said again. She let out a bitter laugh. "Why me? Why now?" His eyes narrowed. "Because you came back when no one else would," she barked. "I didn't come back for this." "Then why?" Silence sat between them. The cradle behind her was still. The lamp flickered low. The smell of milk and smoke clung thicker. Finally she muttered, "Dreams don't leave you alone." He nodded. "Exactly." Her lips curled. "Don't act like you know me." "I don't have to," he said. "The house knows enough." Her shoulders stiffened. She pressed a hand to the table's edge. The surface was cool, smooth. Too smooth. Not charred, not scared. She pressed harder. Her fingertips tingled, almost like heat buried under skin. Her voice dropped low. "It should have burned." "But it didn't." he answered. She shot him a hard look. Maybe you built it. His brow furrowed. You think I made this? Maybe you're tricking me, she said. Maybe this is some game. His tone sharpened. You think I could carve memory? You could fake it, she hissed. He slammed his hand flat on the wood. The sound cracked through the room. Touch it again and tell me it's fake. She flinched but didn't move away. She set her palm flat beside his. The table hummed faint under her hand, steady, like a heart that refused to die. She yanked back, breath ragged. You felt it, he said. She shook her head. No. You did? Her eyes burned. Shut up. You can't deny it. Her anger burst raw. You don't know what was lost here. He leaned close, his voice sharp. Then tell me. Her chest heaved. Words clawed her throat. She wanted to spit them, to release years locked in silence, but the table's weight held them in. Her lips trembled. Finally, she whispered, everything. The word broke her. The man's stare softened, but only a fraction. Then maybe it's here to give it back. She recoiled, shaking her head. Nothing gives back. Nothing. He didn't argue. He just dragged his hand across the table once more, leaving a smear of ash. His voice was low. Memory does. She wanted to scream, to shove him out, to burn the table herself, but her body wouldn't move. The room felt smaller, the walls bending in, the cradle silent, the lamp guttering. The table stood steady, solid, waiting. She backed away slowly, her eyes locked on it, her heart pounding loud enough to drown the silence. The man stayed beside it, hand still resting on the wood, like judge and witness both. Her voice cracked one last time. This house should have stayed dead. He didn't lift his head, but it didn't. The lamp sputtered, flame low, and the ash stirred faint, as if the house exhaled through the table itself, and she knew she couldn't leave. Not yet. The cradle waited. The table waited. And the man waited too, all three fixed on her, as if the choice was already made. The cradle waited. The table waited. The man waited, his hand flat on the smooth wood, like he could feel a pulse. She stood between them and decided not to move first. The lamp steadied. What do they call you? He asked. They don't, she said. Everyone gets called something. Not me. Is that true or stubborn? It's safe, she said. Safe from what? From what burned. They knew it once, and it burned. He lifted his palm, ash graying the lines. Who is they? You already know. I want to hear it from you. You won't keep it. I'm not here to take it. You took a ring, she said. I brought it back. Her jaw tightened. Say why you want my name. So the house hears it from the right mouth. The house knows enough. Then why is it creaking? The table gave a small sound. She hated that she heard it. You hear that? He said. It's old wood. It's waiting. For what? For truth, he said. Truth never saved anyone here. It might bury what should be buried. We tried that, she said. Fire was the only shovel they trusted. Who ordered it? You've got eyes, she said, nodding toward the badge in the ash. The sheriff followed orders. So did his riders. And your kin. Keep their heads down, she said. Same as always. I knew better than to speak, she said, pressing her palm to the table. Names make you visible. Maybe that's what they feared. What do you fear, she asked. Not knowing. The house knows. Then say it, he said. Her fingers traced the faint S her brother once scratched, the cut that stopped mid-line. Her mouth felt full of ash. The cradle stirred like breath. You got papers, he asked. They burned, she said. All of it? All of me. Not all, he said, nodding toward the cradle. Something circled back. That's not me. It's the reason you came. I came because I can't sleep. Dreams pull names up. Dreams drown them. He stepped closer. She stepped back. I'm not here to hurt you. You already did. How? You opened the door. It was unlocked. It was closed. Let me know what to call you. Call me nobody. Is that true or wish? It's armor. For what's coming. For what already came. She kept her hand on the wood. If I say it, the house will echo it. The well will take it. The badge will wake up. Good, he said. No, she said. Why? Once a name moves here, it brings footsteps. Whose? Theirs, she said. Men who don't knock. Men who don't miss. You think they're still alive? Alive enough. The letter said silence, he said. Letters lie. You pulled it yourself. I know what it promised, she said. Forgiveness for the right kind of guilt, and your name got caught under that. Ground under it, then pull it back. From where? From your mouth, he said. She wanted to spit. The table hummed under her palm. The cradle rocked once without sound. The house felt hungry for her voice. Say it quiet, he murmured. You won't keep it. I kept the ring. You kept it from water, she said. Not from men. I'm not with them. Your father was. I was a boy. Boys learn fast. I learned wrong, he said. I'm learning back. People don't learn back. They pretend. Maybe, he said. Maybe I'm trying anyway. The table sighed again, a dry breath. What did they call you last time the house heard it? He asked. It wasn't a call. It was a warning. What did it sound like? Stop, she said, like a mother saying it softly. So soft I had to lean close. And then men yelled it hard, she said. Hard enough to split it. What was it? Her teeth found her lip. Iron rose on her tongue. If I say it, you repeat it. I will. And the house will repeat to you. It will. And the ground will know me. It already does, he said. She saw river stones, Samuel's laugh, the ring's flash, paper waved like a blessing and used like rope, a doorway full of smoke, her mother's mouth shaping a sound and losing it to heat. Not yet, she said. Why not? Because once I say it, I can't be nobody again. You don't want to be nobody. It's the only thing they can't take. They already took it, he said. You're standing here. You don't know the cost. Tell me. Sleep, she said. Breath, the space between foot and floor. You pay that either way. Maybe. The cradle shifted, a whisper of cloth. The baby's thumb flexed. The ring flashed and hid. The table's edge pressed her skin like an insistence. Want me to name you something to hold the place? He asked. No. Then I'll wait. You've been waiting. All night. Longer. Yes. She swallowed. The word formed behind her teeth, heavy as iron, thin as paper. The house waited with it. She pressed her tongue to the roof of her mouth and held the shape there without sound. I heard it, he said. No, you didn't. I felt it in the wood. Then keep it there, she said. The table creaked, low and careful, as if agreeing to hold the secret a little longer. She lifted her hand, and the hum eased. He stepped back, giving the room a strip of air. She turned toward the cradle, the lamp, and the door. Tomorrow, she said. He nodded. Tomorrow. The cradle didn't move. The table didn't creak. The house just listened. She watched him crouch at the hearth, fingers sifting through what should have gone cold long ago. Ash flaked, soft and black, but the edge of something hard caught his nail. He pulled it slowly, a half-melted badge, warped, scorched, but the star shape held. The name was burned off, but the weight of it still showed. She took one step back. Put it down. You know who wore this? He asked. Drop it. I think I deserve to know. You already do, she said. You just want to hear me say it. He turned it in his palm. The metal caught the lamplight like old fire trying to come back. You came for this, she said. Didn't you? No, he said. But it's louder than I expected. She crossed her arms. That badge belonged to the one who gave the word. To light it? To end it. He stood. The sheriff? Not a sheriff, she said. Just a man who wore metal so others would look the other way. He raised an eyebrow. Badge says otherwise. That badge doesn't say anything now. He studied her. You knew him. She stared at the hearth. He knew me. How well? Well enough to ask if I'd talk. Did you? Would I be here if I had? His hand gripped the badge tighter. You're saying he lit it himself? He stood by while they poured. Gasoline. No, she said. Kerosene. Easier to mask the smell. His eyes narrowed. You saw it. I heard it, she said. Screams carry differently in houses like this. He stepped closer. And you didn't stop it? You think they let girls stop anything? You survived. Barely. You hid? No, she said. I watched. From inside the wall. He blinked. You were in the house. She nodded. Behind the pantry shelf. I chewed my hand to keep quiet. He looked at the badge again. You think this was justice? I think that's what he called it. He knelt and set the badge back in the ash. Why leave it? Maybe the house spit it out. Or maybe someone wanted it found. She eyed him. You didn't come for this. Then why are you still here? I dreamt of smoke, he said, and someone calling my name in a voice that wasn't mine. She turned her face. That sounds like guilt. He stood again. My father rode with him. I figured. He never told me what they did. He didn't have to. He stepped toward her. Then tell me what he did. No, she said. I told the wall. That's all it gets. His voice sharpened. That badge is proof. It's a scar, she snapped. One that doesn't heal just because you hold it. You think I came to fix things? You came to measure the damage. He hesitated. Maybe. She turned toward the hearth. They pinned that badge on a man who smiled through it all. Name? You don't need it. Say it anyway. Her eyes hardened. Breyer. He froze. Sheriff Breyer. No one called him sheriff, but the papers. He stared at the badge again. He was buried with a medal. He should have been buried with his boots off and his badge melted. I can melt it, he said. You think that erases anything? No, he said. But maybe it stops the house from whispering. She stepped closer, voice low. This house doesn't whisper for you. It whispers for me. For what I lost. For what I never got to bury. He nodded slowly. And that's him. She looked down. The cradle was still. Number that's someone else. That's a memory trying again. He rubbed his face. You believe in that? I didn't, she said. Till I saw a stranger rocking a child wearing my brother's ring. He walked back to the hearth, crouched again. Have you ever seen Breyer's face after that night? No, she said. But I heard his voice in a courtroom 6 counties over, talking like none of it stuck to him. He says your name. He acted like I never existed. He lifted the badge. Then why did he keep this place boarded instead of selling it? Because he knew it breathed. Like now. Exactly like now. He held the badge over the ashes. Say the word. What word? Permission. To burn it. To let it go. She didn't speak. He waited. The lamp flickered. The cradle let out one soft exhale. Finally, she whispered, Do it. He dropped the badge back into the ash, pulled a match, struck it. The flame kissed metal and held. The badge didn't scream. It didn't fight. It hissed. She watched until the star shape lost its lines, until the last edge curled in. He leaned back. It's done, she whispered. Not yet. No? Not till I stop hearing his voice in my sleep. He didn't argue. He dusted his hands, stood. Then we keep going. She didn't move. He looked at her. What now? She looked at the table. We see what else the house remembers. The heat from the badge still hung in the air, faint but sharp, like scorched memory. He didn't speak. Neither did she. They both just stared at the table. The man moved first, hands on the edge. He tapped once, then again. The sound shifted near the back leg. She narrowed her eyes. You hear that? Yeah. He crouched down, ran his fingers along the grain. Slow, a small notch caught his nail. He pushed. Nothing. Then pressed harder. A groan. The floorboard lifted, barely. She stepped closer. That wasn't loose before. It is now. Together, they pulled. Wood scraped against itself. Dust rose. Underneath, a hollow space, black around the edges, like smoke once licked the opening but stopped short. A cloth-wrapped bundle sat inside, tied with fraying twine. She knelt fast. Let me. He backed off. Her fingers trembled, but she unwrapped it anyway. One fold, then 2. Inside, a ledger, thick, bound in leather. Corners burned but not gone. The middle bulged like it still carried breath. She opened it. Pages yellowed, ink bled but legible. Names, dozens. Some crossed out, others circled. A few marked with symbols, tiny carvings like old family etchings, half rune, half brand. She traced a line. I know these. He hovered behind her. Which ones? All of them. Neighbors? Worse. He crouched again. What's this mark? She touched a star. Property. His mouth tightened. As in owned. He flipped the page. These? Debt. And the circles? Safe. How do you know? She didn't answer, just kept turning. Her breath hitched. She froze. Her hand stopped on a name. He leaned closer. Yours? No. Her voice dropped. My brother's. Samuel. She nodded. Circle next to it. Safe? Supposed to be. He pointed lower. That one? She stared. Her mouth moved, but no sound came. Then, my mother. Her hand shook. His name had a star. Hers had a line through it. He asked gently, What's the line mean? She gripped the edge of the page. Gone. His brow creased. Dead? Taken. Same thing. In this town? She whispered. Yeah. They sat quietly. Pages whispered as she turned them. Names came and went. Old men, young girls, entire households boxed in red. She stopped again. That's him. Breyer? She nodded. His name's at the top. No mark. Does he mean he wrote it? Means he owned it. The man sat back. How'd this survive? She looked at the table. It chose to. You believe that? I do now. He rubbed his jaw. Why would someone keep a record like this? To remember, she said. Or to make sure no one else could. Insurance. Confession. He looked at her. Your name in there? She didn't answer. He tried again. Is it? She closed the book. Tight. My family's here. He searched her face. Alive or buried? She stood. What's the difference if nobody looks for them? He stood too. You're looking now. She held the ledger to her chest. Too late. You don't believe that. I do. The cradle stirred. Just once. They both turned. The man said, He's marked in there. She shook her head. No children are. Why not? Because they weren't meant to stay. He swallowed hard. What happens if we read it aloud? She stiffened. The ground remembers. So do the walls. Then maybe it's time they speak. She looked at him. You want names shouted through this house? I want the truth out of hiding. Truth burns people. So does silence. She walked to the table, set the ledger down. He followed. Let's pick one. No. One, he said again. Let's say one. Her hand hovered over the cover. You say it. Why me? You didn't live here. That's why it should be you. She hesitated. Then I opened it, flipped fast, found a name, whispered Etta Doran. He waited. The lamp pulsed. Nothing stirred until the wind touched the chimney. A low whistle. He glanced at her. Is that her? She was the midwife. He squinted. The one they buried out back? She nodded. Without a stone. Why? She signed too many pages. He stared at the flame. Think they'll come for us now? They already are, she said. He looked down. You said my family's here. I meant all of them. He turned a page. Even the ones who betrayed you? They bled the same. And the ones who kept quiet? She nodded. Especially them. He looked at her. Does that include you? She didn't flinch. Every night. He laid a hand on the book. We read them all. Not yet. When? When the house says so. It's saying plenty. She stared at the cradle. Not loud enough. He stepped back. So we wait. She nodded. We wait. The table sat between them, the ledger open, the ink breathing. The baby slept. The house held its breath. And somewhere beneath the floor, names still stirred. She didn't speak when she stepped outside, didn't look back, just crossed the doorway like something was pulling her. The man followed, slow. The air was colder out here, but heavier, like the house had exhaled everything it couldn't hold. She walked past the scorched path, around the dead tree, toward the rise behind the house. He called after her low. Where are we going? She didn't answer. He quickened his pace. You hear something? She stopped at the edge of the clearing. Grass dead in a perfect circle, stones sunken. The well sat in the middle, half covered by moss, rope frayed, wood rotted at the rim. She pointed. That's where it started. He frowned. Thought it started with fire. No, she said. The fire was the answer. The question was in the water. He stepped closer. What kind of question? She looked at him. How much a town can forget. The well looked shallow, but the cold coming off it said otherwise. She knelt, brushed moss away from the rim. He hovered near her. Are you sure it's safe? It never was. He leaned in, squinting. How deep? 2. Have you ever fallen in? Almost, she said. Mama caught me by the braid. He looked around. No fence, no stones, no warnings, she said. They wanted it open. For what? Bodies, secrets, pick one. He knelt beside her. Are you saying there's someone down there? Not someone, she said. Something. He tilted his head. You believe that? I believe in what stays. They were quiet. Then she leaned over the rim, slowly, head tilted, eyes closed. He grabbed her shoulder. What are you doing? She held a finger up. Listen. I don't hear. He stopped. There it was, a hum, faint, just under the wind, not a melody. One note, drawn out, human, but not sung. He stiffened. That you? She shook her head. It's always been there. He stared into the dark. Sounds like breath. Sounds like regret. He swallowed. Who's down there? Depends who's listening. You think the house connects to it? She nodded. Same route. Same memory. Same shame. He sat back on his heels. It feels wrong here. She nodded. The air doesn't move right. Never did. He looked up. Clouds weren't moving either. When they stopped using it? The day after I screamed. He turned. You screamed. Loud enough to wake the sheriff, she said. Loud enough to make him lie. Why scream? I saw something. He hesitated. What? She didn't blink. Hair. In the well? She nodded. Whose? She whispered. Mine. He stared at her. Does that make sense to you? No, she said. That's why it scared them. He stood, pacing. Hair grows on what lives. Or on what I can't forget. He stopped. What happened after? They nailed it shut. Then someone unnailed it. He exhaled. You think it's calling? It never stopped. You think it wants you back? She didn't answer. He looked at the rope. Does this hold weight? No. He backed away. Good. She stood too. You scared? He nodded. Yeah. Good. You not? I'm past that, she said. He narrowed his eyes. Why'd you bring me? Because I need someone else to hear it. Why? So, I know I'm not broken. You're not. You don't know that. You lived. So did it, she said, nodding toward the well. He stepped forward, voice low. What if we seal it? She shook her head. It'll just hum louder. Fire? No. Dirt? Too light. He looked around. Then what? We listen. He grimaced. That's it. For now. He clenched his fists. This ain't justice. No, she said. It's a memory. He walked to the edge, leaned down. Don't say anything, she warned. He turned. Why not? If you speak into it, it speaks back. He hesitated. What's it say? She looked him dead in the eyes. It says your name. Then it asks where your mother is. He stepped away. Nope, she nodded. That's the smart choice. He wiped his hands on his jeans. So what do we do? She looked back at the house. We go back in. Why? Because the ledger's still open. And? It doesn't end till the well stops humming. They walked back in silence. The hum followed, not louder, just closer, like it knew they were listening now, like it was waiting too. The wind didn't move, the air didn't shift, but something in the ground turned over once, slowly. The well didn't breathe. It was memorable. She didn't walk straight back to the house. She stopped halfway, eyes fixed on a crooked stone at the base of the rise. The man nearly passed her before he noticed. You forgot something? She crouched. No. He watched her hands pry moss from a gap between two stones. Her fingers moved slowly, like she already knew what was there. The paper came out damp, edges curled, pressed flat like it had been waiting for weight. She held it up. Found this when I was 13. He stepped closer. What is it? A letter, she said, buried by men who thought stone would muffle it. She unfolded it. The ink had bled but not vanished. The seal held. A pressed stamp, faded but unmistakable. The governor's seal. He went still. That's official. She nodded. Too official. She squinted, reading aloud in pieces. In recognition of service rendered. The man swallowed. Who's it to? Don't say a name. Just to all officers acting in good faith on behalf of settlement stability. He shook his head. That's wide. She kept reading. You are authorized to carry out decisions deemed necessary for protection of moral and legal order. He stepped back. Blank check. She nodded. In exchange, the state guarantees silence, access to Tract 7B and 9C, and immunity from future inquiries. He blinked. They paid them. She looked up. They bought their silence in acres. Whose land? She folded the letter again. My family's. He didn't move. They took your home and wrote it off as defense? They called it prevention of cultural unrest. He stared at the mossy stone. This wasn't a fire. She looked him in the eye. This was a cleansing. He nodded, voice rough. Burn the roots. Leave the fruit. She tucked the letter into her jacket. They thought that would end it. But the wells stayed. And the table stayed. And the baby. He added. She didn't answer. He spoke again. You kept that letter hidden. No, she said. I kept it close. He turned. So you always knew this wasn't just a fire? I never thought it was. He paced. Did you tell anyone? She scoffed. Tell who? They were all on the list or married to it. He folded his arms. Your name's still not in the ledger. Don't mean I wasn't listed. Under what? She touched her own shoulder. Dependent, female, minor, disposable. He bit his lip. They really wrote that? They didn't have to. It's how they lived. He stepped away, eyes scanning the trees. And now you want what? Truth. And after that? She looked down at the folded letter. Burial. He pointed toward the house. Of who? All of them, she said. They're already dead. No, she said. Their names on deeds, on plaques, in churches. You want to strip them? I want to unname them. He was quiet. Then, is that possible? If the fire didn't finish the job, she said, maybe the truth will. He nodded once. And you need me for that? I need someone who isn't afraid to read out loud. His eyes narrowed. What if I say no? She walked past him. You already didn't. He followed her back toward the house, the wind finally moving like it was remembering how. You think that letter was meant to be found? He asked. No, she said. I think it was left behind by someone who changed their mind too late. He squinted. You think your mama put it there? She didn't answer. They reached the steps. She paused at the door. Wait, he said. The seal, is that still valid? She pulled it out again. It's old, but still a signature. You know what that means? That if we burned, we weren't trespassers. We were owners. His breath caught. They cleansed the land from the owners. She opened the door, and history calls it a house fire. They stepped inside. The air hadn't changed, still thick, still listening. The table sat steady. The ledger was unopened. The man pointed to it. Put the letter in there. She looked at him. Why? Let it sit with the names it tried to erase. She walked over, lifted the cover, slid the letter in between two pages. The cradle rocked once. He turned. You hear that? She nodded. The baby's listening too. He swallowed. Think it understands. Babies feel weight, she said. Don't take words to carry it. He rubbed his jaw. Governor's name wasn't signed? No, she said. But we know who held the pen. You gonna say it out loud? She didn't answer. He stepped closer. If we don't name the guilty, they stay clean. She turned. You really think this story's about the guilty? Isn't it? No, she said. It's about the ones who remember. The lamp flickered. She sat at the table. Are you hungry? He hesitated. Now. You can't read on an empty stomach. He laughed once, bitter. Are you feeding? Ghosts now. Always have, she said. They eat quietly, but they never leave the table. He didn't eat. He just sat across from her, eyes on the letter buried in the ledger, fingers tight around the chair edge, like holding still kept him clean. She watched him without blinking. Are you ready to read now? He didn't answer. Her voice sharpened. You wanted to know. I wanted to help. I wanted the truth. He nodded once. Yeah. She leaned forward. Then tell me something first. What? Your last name. He hesitated. She stared harder. Say it. Murrow, he said. She didn't flinch, just said, I knew it. His throat moved. You did. You walk like him, she said. Quiet, careful, like every step's borrowed. He looked away. You gonna lie now? She asked. No. Say it. He looked back at her. My father rode with Briar. She nodded. Say his first name. Carver. She gritted her teeth. You should have said that when you walked in. I didn't know if it mattered. It does, she said, because he lit the porch. He's the one who lit it first. I was a child, he said. You were his son. And I left. Too late. I didn't choose his path. You didn't stop it either. I didn't know what he'd done until I was grown. You stayed gone until the dream started. I didn't think I deserved to come back. She stood. You don't. He stood too. Then why let me in? Because the house let you in. And you trust the house now? I trust what it remembers. He stepped closer. Then look me in the eye and tell me I'm him. She didn't blink. You don't need a torch to carry fire. Blood's enough. He swallowed. I'm not him. Your hands shook when you held that badge. Because I hated it. No, she said. Because you recognized it. He raised his voice. You think I wanted this? You came here, she shot back. You woke it all up. I came to bury it. You came too late. He slammed a fist on the table. I still came. She didn't flinch. So what? So let me speak. You're speaking plenty. No, he said. Let me confess. She scoffed. You think that's what this is? Confession? He nodded. Doesn't it sound like a church here? She looked around. The quiet, the cradle, the waiting air. Churches don't creak like this. He pressed his hand to his chest. I left home because I couldn't look at what he'd done. I left town, changed my name. I thought if I kept my head down, the past wouldn't catch me. It always does, she said. I kept dreaming, he said. Same house, same fire, same baby screaming. She stared at him. Not a baby. He nodded. You. Her voice dropped. You dreamt me. I did, even when I didn't know who you were. You think that makes it better? No, he said. It makes it worse. She circled the table, stopped in front of him. You carry his name, his eyes, his gait. What else do you carry? Regret. She barked a laugh. That's light. He whispered, it's heavy enough. Not for what you're standing in. He looked down. I'm not asking for forgiveness. Good, she said. Ain't mine to give. He looked up. Then why are you still talking to me? Because the house ain't done. The wind picked up. It slipped through cracks, lifting dust and ash. The cradle rocked once. He turned toward it. Is that real? Yes. And the ring? She nodded. My brother's. He stepped forward. Can I hold him? No. Why not? He doesn't know you, she said. And he's known enough men like you. I'm not like him. You were raised in his shadow and ran from it. She tilted her head. That shadow's still on you. He breathed hard. So what do I do? You name the ones who lit it. He nodded. Aloud? Loud enough to shame the wind. He reached for the ledger. You sit? No, she said. I stand for this. He opened the book, found the first page. Carver Murrow. The wind pushed through the room. Sheriff Breyer. The lamp flickered. Etta Doran. The cradle shifted. He kept reading. One by one. Names meant to stay buried. Names etched into walls, into dirt, into her bones. When he paused, she whispered, keep going. He did. Ash danced in the corners. The house felt like it breathed. He looked up. Are you ready to name your own? She nodded. But not yet. He closed the book. Why? Because some names still carry shame I ain't ready to hold. He set the book down. That's fair. They stood in silence, one between them, the house listening. She looked at him again. Less fire. Still steel. You're not him, she said, but don't act like that clears you. I won't, she nodded. Then maybe the house lets you stay. He pulled out a chair. Didn't sit, just wait. And for the first time, the room didn't push him out. She didn't say anything at first, just disappeared behind the pantry, boots soft on soot. He heard a scrape, then wood dragging slowly over floorboards. He turned. She was pulling something into the light, piece by piece. Legs first, then arms, then the curve of a back. A chair, tall, heavy, handmade. The man stood. That new. She didn't look at him. No. He stepped forward. Looks new. I built it from memory. He frowned. What memory? She touched the backrest. The one before the fire. He glanced toward the cradle. You made this? By hand. He crouched, ran his fingers along the leg. It's solid. It was my mother's, she said. Not this one, but this shape, this tilt. That knot in the arm, she always ran her thumb across it when she was angry. He stared at her. How'd you get it so exact? I didn't, she said, but the house helped. He stood again. You believe that? She looked him dead in the eye. Don't you? He nodded, slow. I do now. She gestured to the seat. Sit. He hesitated. You sure? No, she said, but sit anyway. He lowered himself in. The chair creaked once, then settled. His shoulders stiffened. Feels strange. It should, she said. That chair remembers things you don't. The chair rocked slightly, back and forth, slow, steady. He looked down. I'm not moving it. She didn't respond. It's not me, he said again. I know. He sat still. The chair moved anyway. She crossed her arms. My mother used to read it, Bible in her lap. Her voice was soft till she reached the names. The names. The dead ones. She'd whisper them like prayers. He watched her. Do you remember her voice? Only when I'm angry. The chair rocked again. He gripped his arms. What else did she do in this chair? She held me. She held Samuel. She held her tongue when the sheriff came to question us, said we hadn't seen anything, that the fire was an accident. And you? I sat on the floor. The chair shifted. He asked, You sure this thing ain't on a slope? There's no slope, she said. Just a memory. He stared at the leg. This wasn't here before. It was in the barn, she said, under a tarp. I built it the year after the trial. Took me all winter. Wood from the tree that split the day they buried my brother. His eyes darkened. That's why it moves. She nodded. Some trees don't forget where they came from. The wind outside touched the windows. The cradle didn't stir, but the chair rocked, back and forth. He cleared his throat. What do you want me to feel? Whatever it gives you. He leaned back. Right now, it feels like judgment. Then you're listening. He didn't move. And if I get up, it'll stop. Good. No, she said. That's worse. He blinked. Why? Because it only stops when the story's over, and yours isn't. The chair rocked harder once, then eased again. He tensed. Is it supposed to do that? She stepped closer. Do you regret coming? Sometimes. Good, she said. That means it's working. His voice was low. What is? The house, she said. The chair. The ledger. The fire. All of it. He gripped the arm tighter. It's getting faster. Your heartbeat? He nodded. Keep sitting. He closed his eyes. I feel like I'm being watched. You are. By what? She whispered. By everything you didn't know you'd carry. He looked up at her. Are you trying to break me? She shook her head. I'm trying to hand it to you. He swallowed hard. Why? Because I carried it too long. The chair slowed. She walked behind him, placed her hand on the back. You know what this is? A reckoning? No, she said. It's remembering. The room held still. He whispered, What happens when it stops? Then you say your name again. He opened his mouth, closed it. She waited. He whispered, Murrow. The chair stopped. She nodded. Now it knows. He stood fast, breath sharp. Feels like it took something. It did, she said, and left something else. What? Truth, she said. The kind that costs. He looked down at the chair. It didn't move, didn't creak, just sat, quiet, like it had judged him and found him unfinished. He stepped back. You sit in it? She shook her head. Not yet. Why not? Because I'm not done either. They stood there, eyes on the chair, on the knots in the arms, on the place where her mother once rocked and stayed silent while the world outside screamed. He asked softly, What's it waiting for now? She glanced at the cradle, then the table, then the door. She whispered, A name I haven't said yet. She cleared the table with one sweep of her arm. The ledger stayed. Everything else clattered to the floor, plate, cup, the old spoon with the bent handle. The sound echoed like gunfire through the bones of the house. He turned fast. What the hell? She pointed to the chair. Sit. Again? This time it's court. He hesitated. She didn't blink. You sit, or I read every name myself. He sat. The kitchen was dim. The windows fogged. The walls leaned in like they were listening too. She stood across from him, hands flat on the wood. State your name. He frowned. What? Name, she repeated. Out loud. We're not playing anymore. He swallowed. Thomas Murrow. Relation to Carver Murrow? Son. Willing or unwilling? He hesitated. Unwilling. Blood, don't ask permission, she snapped. He nodded once. Unwilling, but undeniable. She paced, slowly. Do you know the charges? He said nothing. She stopped. Say it, he whispered. Arson, murder, land theft. And? He swallowed again. Silencing. She walked behind him. Do you believe the accused is guilty? I believe they never paid. She circled back. And do you carry that debt? He looked up. I carry the name. Not what I asked. I carry the silence. She slammed her hand down. Too light. He stood. Then tell me what's enough. She shouted. Say their names. He flinched. Whose? She grabbed the ledger, flipped it open, pressed it to his chest. These. Everyone that burned, everyone that was crossed out. He stared at the pages. You want me to atone? I want you to remember. He ran his fingers over the ink. Some of these. I don't even know. That didn't stop your father. He looked up. I'm not him. Then prove it, she said. Speak for the dead. He looked around. The stove sagged, the sink rusted, the floor cracked where boots once stomped and flames once kissed. He took a breath. Samuel Reed. She stiffened. He kept going. May Whitlow, Jonah Ellis, Nadine. Louder, she said. He raised his voice. Nadine Holt, Joseph Gray, Rebecca Ann. The cradle let out a low creak. He froze. She said, keep going. Cora Lynn, Elijah Burke, Lorraine Davis, Thomas Vega. The air tightened. He gripped the chair. Hannah Mae, Joel Doran, Ruth. Ruth what? I don't know, he said. Then say what you do know. Ruth. She was 12. Had a red ribbon. Laughed out loud. Too loud. She laughed once, she said. Then they burned her throat. He closed the book. I can't say more. You haven't said enough. I'm not a priest. You're the only one left. He stepped back. You want me to carry this? I've carried it, she snapped, since I was 7. And what's that made you? Still breathing, she said. Still here. He pointed at the ledger. This isn't justice. It's a grave. She nodded. Then dig. He stepped to the stove. What now? She said. We do what the court never did. He turned. What's the sentence? She whispered. Memory. That's it. It never ends. He dropped his hands. You want me to stay here forever? No, she said. I want you to leave with your bones heavier than you came. He stared at her. You think that makes you clean? No, she said. Just heard. He looked down. I don't want forgiveness. Good. I don't deserve it. She stepped closer. You don't. But I still want to stay, he said. At least tonight. She nodded. You stay in the chair. And you? I sit at the stove, she said. Like my mother did. Back turned. Listening anyway. He sat. The chair didn't rock. She lit the burner. Flame caught blue. Then settled. The trial ended without a gavel. But the house remembered. And for the first time it stayed quiet. She didn't wait for morning. While he slept upright in the chair, head tilted, hand limp across the ledger, she stood in the kitchen, quiet, measured, steady. A box of matches sat beneath the sink. She hadn't touched it in years, but she always knew where it was. The first match snapped in her fingers. Weak wood. The second caught. He woke to the sound of sulfur. What are you doing? She didn't turn. She walked room by room, match in hand, dragging it along the edges of fabric and paper and wood that had held on too long. Hey, he said louder, stumbling out of the chair. Stop. She struck another, dropped it on the old quilt by the cradle. He lunged. Don't. The fire caught slow but true. She turned to him, eyes sharp. I've rebuilt this place in my dreams. His voice cracked. So why burn it? Because dreams end in flames. He stepped forward. This isn't justice. This is surrender. She shook her head. This is the release. He tried to stomp the quilt. She shoved him back. No. Smoke curled toward the beams. He shouted, You said the house remembered, and now it'll be forgotten. The ledger? I already memorized it. The letter? Gone, like it should be. The chair. Still rocks, she said. Even ash moves. He grabbed her wrist. You can't undo what they did. She stared hard. I can unhouse it. The cradle burned next, not with screams but silence. He moved to grab it. Too late. She walked to the table, set her palm on the surface one last time. The heat crept up. "You built this again," he said. "You made it whole. I made it truthful. And now you're erasing it." "No," she said. "I'm letting it go." He circled her. "And what about me?" "You carry it now." Smoke wrapped around their ankles. The kitchen window cracked from heat. "Come with me," he said. She looked toward the stairs. "There's something I need." "No," he said. "There isn't." "There is." She broke up with him, climbed fast. He followed, heat rising behind them. She entered the bedroom. The floor sagged. The walls blistered. She moved to the corner, pulled up a loose board. He coughed. "We have to go." She pulled out a shoebox. Inside, 3 photographs, a ribbon, and a necklace with no chain. She held it tight. "Okay." They ran. Down the stairs, past the chair, past the table. The ceiling creaked. The cradle gave one last groan before the legs split. Outside, the wind caught them. He collapsed on the grass. She stayed standing, watching the flames bloom. The house lit orange, then white. The roof split. The walls curled. He whispered, "Why now?" She dropped beside him. "Because this time, I chose the fire." They sat in the dirt, the smell of old ash rising new. He asked, "What did you grab?" She opened the box, showed him. He pointed at the ribbon. "That's yours." "No," she said. "Hers." "Ruth?" She nodded. "They buried it with her. I dug it back." He looked away. "Are you still dreaming?" "Not tonight." The flames reached the rafters. He asked, "When the fire's done, what then?" "We rebuild again." "How?" She looked up. With nothing borrowed, nothing stolen. The chair's outline glowed a moment longer before it collapsed. He whispered, "We should have read more names." "We still can." He held his head in his hands. "It doesn't feel like enough." "It never does." She leaned back, let the heat press against her face. "And what about the ones who never got flames?" He asked. "The ones forgotten?" She looked him dead in the eye. "That's why we're still breathing." The house snapped in half. The ledger burned, and behind them the well hummed lower, quieter, not gone, just tired. She didn't cry. He didn't beg. They watched it end, not with grief, but with knowing. She whispered, "Now it can't be rebuilt again." He nodded. "Not this time." The sky cracked pale. Smoke curled soft from the bones of the house. Where walls once stood, only charred timber leaned like broken ribs. No flame left, just the breath of what had burned. He stood alone. Ash clung to his boots, his shirt, his hands. The ground crackled beneath each step. She was gone. He called her name. What little he knew of it, but it scattered with the smoke. No prints, no trail, no box. Just the heat that hadn't left. In the center of the ruin, something remained. The chair, half charred but upright. The back warped, arms blackened, but it stood. And beside it, the ledger, unburned. He stared at it, heart pounding. I walked closer. The leather was scorched, edges curled, but the pages hadn't turned to ash. He knelt. It opened slowly. Names, all of them. Still there. He whispered one, then another, then 5 more. He spoke to them softly, like prayer, like an apology. Smoke rose around him, carrying each name upward. Samuel Reed, Ruth Withers, Thomas Vega, Lorraine Davis. Cora Lynn. The air didn't move, but it listened. He flipped the page. He stopped. A new name, written in the corner, ink still wet. No handwriting like his. Just one word. Her. No last name, no first. Just that. He stared at it, breath caught. She had written herself in. At last. He closed the book, pressed it to his chest. The chair creaked once. He turned. No one sat in it, but the seat dipped slightly like weight had just left. He whispered, "Are you still here?" Nothing answered. He set the ledger on the chair. I stood back. Smoke curled around both. He looked at the well in the distance. No hum now. Only wind, the kind that forgets. He walked toward it, stopped halfway, dropped to his knees, scooped ash in his hands. Hold it. Let it warm his palms. It didn't burn, but it stayed warm, alive in some way he didn't have words for. He whispered again, quieter this time. "I remember you." He pressed his hands to the earth. The ash didn't sink. It was held. He sat back. I looked at what the fire left behind. No cradle, no table, no stove, no photographs, just the ledger, just the chair, and the warmth that didn't fade. He stood one last time. I looked down the hill. No one waited. No road appeared. He didn't walk away. Not yet. He sat in the chair. Let it hold him. It rocked once. Not forward, not back, just once. And still. He kept his hands on his knees, closed his eyes. The ash whispered around his boots. The wind moved through the trees. The fire had ended, but something had stayed. And it was warm.